Have you ever wondered why your body, which built itself from a single invisible cell into the magnificent temple you now inhabit, seems to have forgotten how to restore itself to perfect wholeness? Consider this question deeply. The same intelligence that formed your heart, that wove the intricate network of your nervous system, that created eyes capable of perceiving light and ears capable of receiving sound, this same infinite wisdom still dwells within you at this very moment. It has not departed. It has not weakened. It has not forgotten its purpose. And yet, so many walk through this world carrying burdens of weariness, pain, and imbalance, never realizing that there exists a sacred conversation they can have with their own body, a dialogue so powerful that it can awaken the sleeping healer within. What you are about to receive is not ordinary information. This is a transmission of timeless principle, a key that has been used by those who understand the deeper workings of mind and matter. Within the next few minutes, you will learn words, specific, deliberate, faith-filled words, that you can speak to your own body, words that penetrate beyond the conscious mind and reach the very intelligence that governs every cell, every organ, every system within you. These are words that many have used to move from states of exhaustion into renewal, from chronic discomfort into unexpected ease, from years of struggle into experiences of restoration they could scarcely imagine. If you sense that you were guided here for a reason, if something within you recognizes that this teaching holds what you have been seeking, then take one simple action now. Subscribe to this channel and press the bell, for there are many more transmissions of this wisdom yet to come. Press the like button as an act of faith, a declaration that you are ready to receive, ready to believe, ready to be transformed. And in the comments below, write these words: "My body hears, my body heals, and I am restored." Let this be your first act of speaking life, your first demonstration that you understand the creative power of your word. Now, let us begin this sacred journey together. There is a conversation happening within you at every moment of every day, a ceaseless dialogue between your conscious awareness and the deeper intelligence that governs your physical form. Most people live their entire lives without ever becoming aware of this conversation. They speak carelessly about their bodies, complaining of weakness, expecting deterioration, affirming limitation without ever realizing that each word, each thought, each feeling is being received, interpreted, and acted upon by a power within them that does not question, does not argue, and does not distinguish between helpful instruction and harmful decree. The subconscious mind, that vast reservoir of creative power that lies beneath the surface of your ordinary awareness, is intimately connected to every function of your body. It does not sleep. It does not rest. From the moment you were conceived until the moment you draw your final breath, it works continuously, directing the repair of tissue, the flow of blood, the secretion of hormones, the healing of wounds. It built your body according to a perfect pattern, and it retained forever the memory of that pattern, the blueprint of wholeness that exists eternally in the mind of the infinite. When you understand this truth, you begin to comprehend why the words you speak to yourself carry such tremendous significance. You are not merely expressing opinions or describing conditions. You are issuing instructions. You are impressing upon the creative medium within you a picture, a feeling, a conviction that it will proceed to manifest in your flesh and in your experience. The subconscious mind is no respecter of persons. It does not give preferential treatment to the educated or the wealthy, the young or the old. It responds equally to all who learn to impress upon it the images and beliefs they wish to see made manifest. Consider this principle carefully. If a person habitually thinks that their body is weak, speaks of their body as unreliable, dwells upon every symptom and magnifies every discomfort, they are conducting continuous prayer of negation. They are instructing the subconscious to accept weakness as the established condition. And the subconscious, being completely impersonal and entirely obedient, proceeds to make this instruction manifest in the body according to the pattern it has received. But the law works with equal precision in the opposite direction. When you begin to speak to your body with authority, when you direct words of life and restoration to the intelligence within you, when you maintain a mental atmosphere of healing and expect with faith the renewal of your strength, you are working with the law rather than against it. You are using the same creative mechanism that has been misused, but now you are using it deliberately, consciously, for purposes of restoration and wholeness. The scripture declares in Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 7 that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This ancient wisdom points to a profound psychological and spiritual truth. The heart, in biblical terminology, often refers to the subconscious mind, the feeling nature, the deep seat of belief. It is what you hold in this inner chamber that determines your outer experience. Your conscious thoughts plant seeds, but it is a subconscious acceptance of these thoughts, their descent into the feeling nature, that causes them to take root and grow into manifest conditions. When you are sick and tired, when your body feels depleted and your energy seems to have abandoned you, the temptation is great to surrender to appearances, to accept the condition as final, to speak words of defeat and resignation. But this is precisely the moment when your words carry the greatest weight. This is the moment of decision. Will you agree with the appearance, or will you plant new seeds? Will you continue the old conversation of limitation, or will you begin a new dialogue of healing? Let me share with you what has been observed in the lives of those who learned this principle and applied it with faith and persistence. There was a woman named Eleanor, a school teacher in her middle years, who had spent more than a decade battling constant fatigue. She had tried many approaches and yet found no lasting relief. Her mornings began with heaviness, her afternoons collapsed into exhaustion, and her evenings were devoted entirely to recovery so that she might survive another day. She had accepted this as her lot in life, speaking of herself as someone who simply lacked vitality. Then she encountered the teaching of the subconscious mind. She learned that her body was not a fixed mechanism operating independently of her thoughts and words, but rather a living expression of her habitual mental patterns. She learned that the intelligence which maintained her heartbeat and directed her breathing was infinitely capable of restoring her energy, if only it received the proper instruction. Eleanor began what she called her evening conversation. Each night before sleep, she would lie still and speak directly to her body, not with pleading or desperation, but with calm, loving authority. She would say, "I thank you for the perfect work you are doing right now. Every cell within me is being renewed. The infinite energy of life flows through me freely and fully. I am being restored while I sleep, and I will wake refreshed, strong, and vitally alive." She would repeat these words slowly, feeling them, believing them, until she drifted into peaceful sleep. For the first week, nothing seemed different. The temptation to quit was strong, but she had learned that the subconscious often requires repetition before new patterns take hold, especially when old patterns have been reinforced for years. She persisted. She maintained her faith. She refused to be discouraged by the unchanged appearances. In the third week, she noticed something subtle. She woke one morning with a feeling she could not immediately identify, a lightness, a sense of possibility, a stirring of energy she had not felt in years. It was not dramatic. It was not instantaneous transformation, but it was a first evidence that the seed she had planted was beginning to germinate beneath the surface. Over the following months, as she continued her practice with devotion and increasing faith, the changes became more pronounced. Colleagues remarked on her renewed vitality. She found herself with energy for activities she had long abandoned. The woman who had accepted exhaustion as permanent discovered that nothing in the realm of mind is permanent except the principles themselves. Conditions change when the inner pattern changes. This is not magic. This is law. This is a natural operation of a principle that has always existed and will always function for anyone who learns to work with it. The subconscious mind responds to your dominant mental attitude, your habitual feelings, your repeated affirmations. It does not ask whether your words are true according to present appearances. It accepts what you tell it with feeling and conviction, and it proceeds to bring it forth in your experience. Consider the words of the Master Teacher recorded in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 11 and verse 24. "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Observe the instruction carefully. Believe that you receive, not that you will receive at some future time, but that you receive now, in this present moment. This is a prayer of faith. This is a mental act that impresses upon the subconscious the conviction of fulfillment. When you speak words of healing to your body while simultaneously feeling the reality of that healing, you are praying in the manner prescribed by the great teacher of spiritual law. The body is not your enemy. It is not separate from you. It is a visible expression of your subconscious mind. When the subconscious is impressed with images of health, vitality, and wholeness, the body responds accordingly. When the subconscious is impressed with fear, expectation of illness, and mental images of deterioration, the body responds to that as well. There is no mystery here, only cause and effect operating in the realm of mind. Many people have discovered that speaking directly to specific areas of the body can be remarkably effective. If there's a particular organ or system that seems to be struggling, you can address it by name with words of blessing and encouragement. You might say, "I speak to you, and I bless you with perfect function. The healing intelligence that created you now restores you to complete and perfect operation." Every cell within you responds to this word of life. This is not superstition. This is a recognition that consciousness permeates every cell of your body. Each cell is a living entity that responds to the mental atmosphere in which it exists. When you direct loving, authoritative words toward any part of your body, you are creating a new mental atmosphere that permits healing to occur. There was a businessman named Michael who suffered for years with digestive difficulties. No adjustment to his diet seemed to help for long. He had resigned himself to a life of careful management and constant discomfort. When he learned about the subconscious mind and its role in bodily function, he was skeptical but desperate enough to try anything. He began a practice of speaking to his digestive system each morning and evening. He would place his hands gently on his abdomen and say, "I bless you with perfect function. Every organ involved in my digestion is working in harmony. The intelligence that created my body is now restoring perfect balance. I assimilate the good from everything I eat, and my body processes all nourishment with ease." He would then spend several minutes feeling gratitude, as if the healing had already occurred. Within a month, Michael noticed he could eat foods that had previously caused distress without any negative reaction. Within 3 months, his chronic discomfort had diminished so significantly that he sometimes forgot he had ever suffered from it. He had not changed his diet. He had not taken any new remedies. He had changed his mental conversation with his body, and his body had responded. Such accounts are not rare among those who seriously apply these principles. They represent the natural outcome of working with the law rather than against it. The subconscious mind, when properly impressed, has access to a healing power that exceeds anything the conscious mind can comprehend. It knows exactly what needs to be done to restore balance. It possesses infinite resources. It requires only your faith, your feeling, and your persistent affirmation to set it in motion. The question you must answer is whether you will continue the old conversation or begin a new one. Every day, you have a choice. When you wake in the morning, what are the first thoughts you entertain about your body? When you prepare for sleep at night, what mental pictures do you carry into the sanctuary of slumber? These thoughts and images are not neutral. They are creative. They are either building or tearing down, either reinforcing health or impressing patterns of disease. The teaching of Isaiah chapter 4-5, verses 2 and 3, speaks of the Lord going before you to make the crooked places straight, to break in pieces the gates of brass, and to cut in sunder the bars of iron, to give you treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places. Consider this as a metaphor for the subconscious mind going before your conscious efforts, straightening what has been crooked in your body, breaking through barriers that have seemed impenetrable, revealing healing resources that have been hidden within you all along. The treasures of darkness are the healing powers of the subconscious that operate primarily when the conscious mind is quiet, especially during sleep. This is why the pre-sleep period is so crucial for healing work. In those moments before you drift into slumber, the conscious mind releases its grip, and the doorway to the subconscious opens wide. Whatever you impress upon your mind during this time sinks deep into the creative medium and is worked upon all through the night. Make it your practice to never fall asleep in a negative mental state. If your body is experiencing discomfort, do not dwell upon the discomfort as you prepare for sleep. Instead, turn your attention to the healing presence within you. Speak words of life. Feel gratitude for the restoration that is occurring. Imagine yourself waking in the morning refreshed and renewed. This is not denial of present conditions. It is a planting of new seeds in the garden of your subconscious. The law of belief operates continuously. You cannot suspend it. You cannot escape it. You can only learn to use it deliberately. What you believe with feeling, you experience in manifestation. If you believe deeply that your body is weak, your body will express weakness. If you believe deeply that healing intelligence is flowing through you now, your body will express that truth. This is why affirmations alone are insufficient. Mere words without feeling are like seeds planted in shallow soil. They may sprout briefly but will wither when challenged. What you need is to combine your words with feeling, to speak your affirmations until they penetrate your feeling nature and become genuine beliefs. When you say, "My body is healing now," you must feel the truth of those words. You must sense the life flowing through you. You must experience the inner shift that comes when faith takes root. Some have found it helpful to use visualization along with spoken words. You might imagine a healing light flowing through your body, touching every cell with restoration. You might picture yourself engaged in activities that your current condition seems to prevent, seeing yourself moving with ease, breathing deeply, full of energy and vitality. The subconscious mind thinks in pictures. When you provide it with vivid mental images accompanied by strong feeling, you give it clear instruction that it can easily follow. There was a young woman named Grace who had struggled with chronic pain for several years. The pain had become so much a part of her daily experience that she could hardly remember what life felt like without it. She had learned to work around it, to manage it, but she had never believed she could be free of it entirely. When she learned about the power of mental imagery, she began a practice each night of visualizing a warm, golden light moving through her body. In her imagination, she saw this light dissolving pain wherever it touched, leaving behind only comfort and ease. She would spend 10 or 15 minutes in this visualization, feeling the warmth, feeling the release, feeling her body returning to its natural state of comfort. The first few nights, she felt nothing different upon waking, but she had learned that persistence is essential when working with the subconscious. She continued her practice night after night, maintaining faith even when appearances suggested nothing was changing. After about 3 weeks, she woke one morning and realized she had slept through the entire night without her usual interruptions of discomfort. This was remarkable. She was afraid to celebrate, afraid it might be temporary. But she continued her practice, and the comfortable nights became more frequent. Within 2 months, what had seemed impossible, an existence free from chronic pain, had become her normal experience. Grace's story illustrates a principle that applies to all subconscious work. The law often operates beneath the surface long before results become visible. Like a seed germinating in darkness underground, the healing work proceeds invisibly until one day it breaks through into manifest experience. Your task is to plant the seed with faith, water it with continued feeling and affirmation, and trust in the law that governs all creation. The words you repeat to your body are seeds. Choose them carefully. Make them living expressions of the truth you wish to manifest. Do not speak of what you fear. Speak of what you intend. Do not rehearse the symptoms. Rehearse the healing. Do not dwell on the diagnosis. Dwell on the divine pattern of perfection that exists within you and seeks expression through your physical form. The psalmist wrote in the 23rd Psalm of lying down in green pastures, of being led beside still waters, of the soul being restored. This pastoral imagery speaks to the peace that is necessary for healing. When the mind is troubled, when fear dominates, when anxiety holds sway, the body cannot access its full healing capacity. The still waters represent a consciousness at peace, a mind that trusts in the goodness of the infinite, a soul that knows it is cared for and provided for. Before you speak your healing words, bring yourself to a state of inner peace. Release the tensions of the day. Let go of worries and concerns. Enter into the sanctuary of stillness within yourself. From this place of peace, your words carry far greater power. They sink deep into receptive soil. They are not resisted by contrary emotions. The teaching of non-resistance is essential here. When you fight against a condition in your body, when you rail against it with frustration and anger, you actually strengthen it by giving it your attention and emotional energy. What you resist persists. The more effectively you can accept the present moment while simultaneously holding the vision of healing, the more space you create for transformation. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It does not mean agreeing that the condition is permanent. It means releasing the struggle, the tension, the fight. It means acknowledging what is while peacefully affirming what is coming to be. This is a delicate balance that becomes easier with practice. You say to yourself, "This is my present experience, but I know that change is the nature of all things. The healing intelligence within me is working right now, and I trust in its perfect operation." The feeling of trust is particularly powerful. Trust relaxes the body. Trust opens the channels through which healing energy flows. Trust creates a mental atmosphere that is welcoming to change. When you truly trust in the power within you, you stop demanding immediate results. You stop checking constantly for signs of improvement. You plant your seed and go about your life, confident that the harvest will come in its own perfect time. There is wisdom in the words of the Master who said, "Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of, before ye ask him." The infinite intelligence within you already knows what needs to be healed. It already possesses the knowledge and the power to restore you. Your role is not to instruct it in the mechanics of healing, but to give it permission, to open the door through faith, to create the mental conditions in which it can operate freely. When you speak healing words to your body, you are not teaching the subconscious something it does not know. You are removing obstacles of doubt and fear that have prevented it from doing what it naturally seeks to do. You are creating alignment between your conscious and subconscious mind. You are saying yes to life, yes to restoration, yes to the divine pattern of wholeness that is your birthright. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 offers another key. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. This is not a promise that requires elaborate ritual or unusual spiritual status. It is a statement of law available to all who approach it with faith. You ask by impressing your subconscious with a picture of what you desire. You seek by maintaining your vision with persistence. You knock by continuing to affirm and believe even when the door seems closed. And the promise is that the door will open. The healing you seek is not being withheld from you by a capricious universe. It is available now, in this moment. The only barriers are the barriers of your own consciousness, the doubts, the fears, the habitual patterns of negative thinking that have accumulated over years. These barriers are real, but they are not permanent. They can be dissolved through persistent application of truth. Each time you speak a word of healing to your body, you are dissolving a small portion of the accumulated negativity. Each time you hold an image of wholeness, you are weakening the old patterns of belief in sickness and limitation. This is cumulative work. The effects build upon each other. What seems ineffective in the first days becomes powerfully effective after weeks and months of consistent practice. Do not be discouraged by the apparent slowness of change. Remember that you may be reversing patterns that have been established for decades. The subconscious mind tends to maintain existing patterns until new impressions are strong enough to replace them. Your persistence is the key. Your faith is a power. Your consistent daily practice is what writes new instructions into the depths of your being. The night is your special time for healing work. When you lie down to sleep, you enter a natural state of increased suggestibility. The conscious mind, with its analytical defenses, begins to quiet. The subconscious becomes more accessible. Use this sacred time well. Let the last thoughts of your day be thoughts of healing. Let the last images be images of wholeness. Let the last feelings be feelings of peace and gratitude. You might develop your own healing script, a sequence of words and images that you use consistently each night. Perhaps you begin by relaxing each part of your body, breathing deeply, releasing all tension. Then you speak your words of blessing and healing to your body. Then you visualize the restoration occurring. Then you feel gratitude as if the healing is already complete. Then you drift into sleep carrying this positive mental atmosphere into the realm where the subconscious works unimpeded. What you carry into sleep, the subconscious works upon all through the night. This is not theory. This is the observation of many who have studied the workings of the mind. The night worker within you never slumbers. It takes your last conscious impression and develops it, elaborates upon it, and moves toward its manifestation. Give it the finest material possible. Give it images of life, words of power, feelings of faith. Now, as we approach the close of this first teaching, let me remind you of the profound truth that rests at the heart of everything we have discussed. There is an infinite intelligence within you that created your body and maintains it moment by moment. This intelligence is not separate from you. It is you at a deeper level than your conscious mind can comprehend. It possesses all wisdom and all power. It knows how to heal you, and it desires to heal you, for healing is a natural movement of life. Your words and thoughts and feelings are the means by which you communicate with this intelligence. You have been communicating with it all along, but perhaps unconsciously, perhaps negatively, perhaps in ways that have obstructed rather than invited its healing power. Now you know better. Now you understand. Now you can begin a new conversation. Speak to your body with love, with authority, with faith. Tell it the truth of its being, that it is a creation of infinite intelligence, that it is designed for wholeness, that healing is its natural state. Repeat these truths until they sink into the depths of your feeling nature. Hold images of health until they become more real to you than any symptom or diagnosis. And trust in the law that governs all creation, the law that operates with mathematical precision to bring forth and form whatever is held in mind with faith and feeling. You are not helpless. You are not at the mercy of circumstance or condition. Within you lies a power greater than any challenge you face. It awaits only your recognition, your faith, your cooperation. Speak the word, hold the vision, feel the reality, and watch as the infinite intelligence within you moves to make all things new. The journey we have begun together now deepens, and as we move further into this teaching, I invite you to open yourself completely to the truths that will be shared. What you have learned thus far has prepared the soil of your understanding. Now we plant seeds that will take root in the very depths of your consciousness and bear fruit that transforms not only your body but your entire experience of life. There is a principle that operates throughout all of creation, a principle so fundamental that nothing exists apart from it. It is a principle that life always moves toward expression, that the invisible always seeks to become visible, that what is held in mind always presses forward to manifest in form. This principle does not discriminate. It does not judge. It does not evaluate the worthiness of the one who employs it. It simply responds to the impression it receives and brings forth accordingly. When you understand this principle at the deepest level, you realize that your body is not a fixed entity but a flowing expression of your dominant mental states. The body you have today is the embodiment of your past thinking and feeling. The body you will have tomorrow is being shaped right now by the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the feelings you entertain. This is not a punishment. It is a gift. It means that change is always possible. It means that regardless of what has been, something new can come to be. The intelligence that operates your body is infinitely responsive. It does not argue with you about what is possible or impossible. It does not remind you of past failures or current limitations. It simply receives the instruction you give it through your mental activity and proceed to execute that instruction with perfect fidelity. When you tell it, through your habitual thoughts and feelings, that you are tired and weak and depleted, it organizes the cells and systems of your body to express tiredness and weakness and depletion. When you tell it, with equal conviction and persistence, that you are filled with vital energy, that every cell is being renewed, that health flows through you like a river, it organizes the cells and systems of your body to express that reality instead. The question is never whether the subconscious can heal you. The question is whether you will provide it with the proper instruction. The question is whether you will take responsibility for your mental diet and begin to feed your mind with thoughts and words and images that support healing rather than thoughts and words and images that reinforce disease. Let me speak now of a man named Thomas, a construction worker who had spent his life doing hard physical labor. By his early 50s, his body seemed to have aged far beyond his years. His joints ached constantly. His back had become a source of unceasing discomfort. He moved slowly, carefully, always anticipating pain. He had come to believe that this was simply the price of the life he had lived, that his body had been used up and could not be restored. Thomas had no background in spiritual teachings or the science of mind. He was a practical man who believed what he could see and touch. But when a friend introduced him to some basic principles of subconscious mind work, something resonated within him. Perhaps it was desperation. Perhaps it was an intuition that there was more to reality than he had assumed. Whatever the reason, he decided to try. He began simply. Each morning upon waking and each night before sleep, he would lie still and speak to his body. He felt awkward at first, self-conscious, as though he were doing something foolish. But he persisted. He would say, "My body is strong and capable. My joints move freely and easily. My back is flexible and comfortable. Every day, I am being renewed." For Thomas, feeling these words was more difficult than speaking them. He had spent so many years feeling the opposite. But he discovered something important. Feeling, like any other capacity, can be developed. At first, he could only sustain a positive feeling for a few seconds before the old habitual feelings flooded back. But gradually, those few seconds expanded. He learned to generate the feeling of well-being deliberately, to recall a time when he had felt strong and vital, and to reactivate that feeling in the present moment. After about 6 weeks, Thomas noticed that he was moving more freely in the mornings. The stiffness that had greeted him each day seemed less severe. He was not pain-free, but he was better. This encouraged him tremendously. He had evidence now that something was working. He increased his practice, becoming more devoted, more precise with his words, more diligent about maintaining his mental attitude throughout the day. Over the following months, the changes continued. What had seemed like permanent deterioration revealed itself to be a changeable condition. Thomas did not regain the body of a 20-year-old, but he became a man who moved with comfort and ease, who could work without constant pain, who woke in the morning feeling refreshed rather than dreading the day. He had discovered what so many discover when they apply these principles. The body has far more capacity for renewal than we typically believe. This story illustrates what becomes possible when faith is combined with persistence. The subconscious mind often does not respond immediately to new instruction, especially when old patterns are deeply ingrained. There may be a period, days, weeks, sometimes longer, when nothing seems to change. This is a testing ground of faith. This is where most people give up and return to their former ways. But those who persist, those who maintain their vision and their practice despite appearances, break through to new experiences. The Bible speaks of this persistence in the parable of the importunate widow, who came again and again to the judge seeking justice until finally her request was granted. The teaching is not that the infinite need to be worn down by repeated asking, but rather that our own consciousness need to be transformed through persistent focus. Each time you affirm your healing, you are deepening the impression upon your subconscious. Each time you hold the vision of wholeness, you are strengthening the new pattern. The repetition is not for the benefit of an external power. It is for the transformation of your own inner belief. When you are sick and tired, your natural inclination may be to think about being sick and tired. This is understandable. The condition is present, immediate, and demanding of attention. But thinking about what you do not want only impresses more of what you do not want upon the subconscious. You must learn to withdraw attention from the unwanted condition and redirect it toward a condition you desire to experience. This is not denial. You do not pretend that you feel wonderful when you feel terrible. You acknowledge the present reality, but you do not worship it. You recognize it as a temporary manifestation of past mental patterns, and you immediately begin to create new mental patterns that will manifest differently. You say, "Yes, this is what I'm experiencing now. But this is not what I choose to continue experiencing. I now turn my mind to what I am becoming." The words you speak to your body should be spoken with quiet authority, not with desperation or pleading. You are not begging your body to heal. You are informing the intelligence within you of the truth of your being. You are reminding the subconscious of the pattern of perfection that exists eternally in the mind of the infinite. There is no need for hysteria, no need for intense emotional drama. Simple, calm, faith-filled declaration is far more effective than fervent begging. Consider the manner in which a master speaks to a servant. There is no doubt in the master's voice, no uncertainty about whether the instruction will be followed. The master simply states what is to be done, confident that it will be done. This is a relationship between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. The conscious mind is a master, the subconscious is a servant. When you speak with the quiet confidence of one who knows the law and knows that the law must respond, your words carry power. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 4 and verse 19, "My God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory." Though this is often applied to material provision, it applies equally to the needs of the body. The infinite intelligence within you possesses all the resources necessary to meet every need of your physical form. There is no shortage of healing power. There is no rationing of life energy. The supply is unlimited, and it flows to you according to your belief and acceptance. Your need may be for energy when you feel depleted. Your need may be for comfort when you are experiencing discomfort. Your need may be for the restoration of function in some system or organ. Whatever the need, the principle remains the same. The supply exists, and it flows to the degree that you open yourself to receive it. Speaking words of healing to your body is one way of opening the channels of reception. It is an act of faith that tells the subconscious you are ready to receive what the infinite has already provided. There was a woman named Margaret who had lived for many years with a condition that caused a chronic respiratory difficulty. Breathing, which most people take for granted, was for her a constant labor. She had adjusted her life around this limitation, avoiding exertion, living cautiously, always aware of the fragility of her breath. When Margaret learned about the power of speaking to her body, she began to address her respiratory system directly. Each day, she would find a quiet place, close her eyes, and speak words of blessing to her lungs. She would say, "I bless you with perfect function. The breath of life flows through you freely and fully. You expand and contract with ease. Every cell receives the oxygen it needs. I breathe deeply and comfortably." She would then spend time visualizing herself breathing with complete ease, perhaps walking briskly or climbing stairs without any sense of strain. She would feel the joy of unrestricted breathing, the pleasure of taking deep, satisfying breaths without effort. Margaret's progress was gradual but undeniable. Over the course of several months, she found herself able to do things she had not done in years. Her breathing became easier. The constant sense of effort diminished. She had not received any new medical intervention. The only change was in her mental practice, her daily conversation with her body. Stories like Margaret's are not exceptional. They are examples of a principle that anyone can apply. The specific condition matters less than consistent application of the law. Whether the challenge is respiratory, digestive, circulatory, structural, or any other aspect of physical function, the principle remains the same. Speak to your body with faith, hold a vision of wholeness, feel the reality of healing, and persist until the manifestation appears. Now let us consider more deeply the role of feeling in this process. Words alone, without feeling, have limited power. You can say, "I am healed," 1,000 times, but if you feel sick and defeated and hopeless, the feeling will override the words. The subconscious responds primarily to feeling. Words are valuable because they help to evoke and direct feeling, but it is a feeling that truly impresses the subconscious and creates the manifestation. When you speak your healing words, therefore, give attention to what you are feeling. Are you feeling the reality of what you are affirming? Are you experiencing, even for a moment, the sense of being well and whole? If not, adjust your practice. Perhaps speak more slowly, savoring each word. Perhaps pause after each statement and allow the feeling to arise. Perhaps recall a time when you did feel well, and let that memory activate the corresponding feeling now. The feeling need not be intense. It need not be dramatic or overpowering. A quiet sense of well-being, a gentle confidence that healing is occurring, a subtle feeling of gratitude. These are sufficient. What matters is that the feeling is genuine, that it corresponds to the words you are speaking, and that it is maintained consistently over time. Some find it helpful to practice gratitude in advance of the manifestation. You might say, "I am so grateful that healing is occurring within me now. I give thanks for the perfect function of my body. I am thankful for the energy and vitality that fill me." Gratitude is a powerful feeling that opens the heart and the mind. When you feel genuine gratitude for healing that is in process, you align yourself with the flow of good. You create a welcoming atmosphere for the manifestation to appear. The teaching of the Master in Mark chapter 11, which we considered earlier, instructs us to believe that we receive when we pray. This belief is not intellectual assent alone. It is felt conviction. It is the inner sense that the thing is done, that the prayer has been answered, that the healing is accomplished in the realm of mind even before it appears in the realm of form. This felt conviction is what some call the prayer of faith, and it is the most powerful creative act a human being can perform. When you close your eyes tonight and speak to your body, let your words arrive from a place of quiet certainty. Do not hope that they might work. Do not wonder if they will be effective. Know that they are setting in motion causes that must produce effects. Know that the law is operating and must operate whenever the conditions are fulfilled. This knowing is itself the fulfillment of the conditions. Let me share now the account of a man named Robert, who experienced what many would consider a remarkable transformation through these principles. Robert had spent years carrying excess weight that seemed resistant to all efforts at reduction. He had tried many approaches, but nothing produced lasting results. He ate when he was stressed, when he was bored, when he was unhappy. Food had become his comfort, but it was a comfort that extracted a heavy price. When Robert learned about the subconscious mind, he began to understand that his eating patterns were not the cause but the effect. The cause lay deeper, in his beliefs about himself, in his emotional patterns, in the instructions his subconscious had received over many years. If he could change the instructions, the behaviors would change naturally. Robert began to speak to his body and to his subconscious in new ways. He would say, "I love and appreciate my body. I nourish it with exactly what it needs. I am satisfied with appropriate portions. I eat for health and energy, not for emotional comfort. My body naturally moves toward its ideal weight and maintains it effortlessly." He did not focus on the weight itself. He focused on the underlying patterns and beliefs. He visualized himself making healthy choices easily and naturally, not through willpower but through genuine preference. He imagined himself moving with energy and ease, enjoying physical activity, feeling comfortable in his body. The change did not happen overnight, but it did happen. Robert found that his relationship with food was shifting. He no longer felt compelled to eat beyond satisfaction. He began to genuinely prefer foods that nourished him. He started to enjoy movement and physical activity. Over the course of a year, his body transformed, not through deprivation or struggle, but through a fundamental change in his inner patterns. Robert's experience demonstrates that the subconscious approach to bodily healing extends beyond addressing symptoms to addressing the root patterns that create those symptoms. When you speak to your body, you can address not only the condition itself, but the mental and emotional patterns that may be contributing to it. You can speak words of peace to a stressed nervous system. You can speak words of release to a body holding tension. You can speak words of self-love to a being that has been treated with criticism and judgment. The body responds to the emotional climate in which it lives. If you constantly criticize your body, speak harshly about it, look upon it with disgust or disappointment, you create an inhospitable environment for healing. Conversely, when you speak to your body with love and appreciation, when you thank it for all it does for you, when you treat it as a faithful servant deserving of kindness, you create conditions in which healing can flourish. Tonight, before you sleep, take a moment to simply thank your body. Thank it for carrying you through this day. Thank it for the beating of your heart, for the breath that sustains you, for the countless functions that proceed without your conscious direction. Let your body feel appreciated. Let it know that you are its friend, not its critic. This simple practice of gratitude and appreciation creates a foundation upon which all other healing work can build. The scripture in Luke chapter 12 and verse 32 records the words, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Though these words were spoken to disciples concerning spiritual matters, they apply equally to the healing of the body. It is the good pleasure of the infinite to give you health, to give you wholeness, to give you the full expression of the life that flows through you. You do not need to earn this gift or prove yourself worthy of it. You need only to receive it through faith. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles to healing. When you fear a condition, when you fear that you will not recover, when you fear the future and what it may hold, you create a mental atmosphere that constricts the flow of healing energy. Fear tenses the body. Fear disrupts normal function. Fear signals to the subconscious that danger is present, and the subconscious responds accordingly, diverting resources towards survival rather than healing. The words you speak to your body can help to dissolve fear. When you say, "I am safe, I am whole, the healing power of the infinite flows through me now," you are directly countering the fear pattern. When you repeat these words until they sink into your feeling nature, you are replacing fear with faith. This is one of the most valuable uses of affirmation, to transform the emotional climate from fear to trust, from anxiety to peace, from tension to relaxation. There is profound wisdom in the instruction to cast all your care upon the infinite, for the infinite cares for you. When you carry the burden of your condition with anxiety and worry, you add a mental and emotional weight to the physical challenge. When you release this burden, when you truly surrender to the greater intelligence that sustains all life, you free up energy for healing. The body knows how to heal. It has healed countless times throughout your life. Your task is to stop interfering with this natural process through fear and doubt and negative expectation. I have observed that many people unconsciously believe they do not deserve to be healed. Somewhere in their minds is a pattern that says they are not worthy of health, that they somehow merit suffering, that healing is for others but not for them. If such a pattern exists within you, it must be addressed directly. You might say, "I am worthy of complete healing. I deserve to feel wonderful in my body. I accept the good that the infinite has for me. I release any belief that I must suffer. I open myself to receive perfect health now." These words, spoken with feeling and repeated with persistence, can dissolve the deep patterns of unworthiness that may be blocking your healing. Remember that the subconscious accepted these patterns in the first place. It can accept new patterns to replace them. You are not stuck with the beliefs you currently hold. You can change them through consistent impression of their opposites. The principle of substitution is essential in this work. You cannot simply remove a negative pattern. You must replace it with a positive one. When you catch yourself thinking thought of illness or limitation, do not simply try to push those thoughts away. Instead, immediately substitute thoughts of health and wholeness. Replace the negative image with a positive image. Replace the fearful feeling with a feeling of trust. This active substitution gradually retrains the mind and establishes new habitual patterns. Consider what happens when a farmer wishes to replace weeds with flowers. The farmer does not simply remove the weeds and leave bare soil. More weeds will quickly return. The farmer plants flowers, tends them, nurtures them until they are strong enough to crowd out the weeds naturally. Your positive thoughts, words, and images are the flowers. Plant them abundantly. Nurture them with feeling and repetition. In time, they will become so established that the weeds of negative thinking will find no room to grow. There was a woman named Dorothy who had been diagnosed with a condition that her medical advisors considered chronic and progressive. They offered her management strategies, but no hope of reversal. Dorothy was devastated by this pronouncement. She felt as though a prison sentence had been passed upon her body. Then she encountered the teaching that the subconscious mind does not accept the verdicts of external authorities as final. It responds only to the verdict she herself accepted and impressed upon it with feeling. She realized that she had a choice. She could accept the prognosis as her inevitable future, or she could reject it and impress upon her subconscious a different vision. Dorothy chose to fight, not with anger or resistance, but with faith. She refused to mentally accept the condition as permanent. She acknowledged it as a present experience while firmly denying it any claim on her future. Each day, she would declare, "I do not accept this as my permanent reality. My body is capable of renewal. The intelligence within me knows how to restore perfect function. I am being healed now." She visualized the affected areas of her body returning to normal function. She felt gratitude for the healing that was occurring, even before she could perceive it with her physical senses. She maintained this practice with unwavering consistency. To the amazement of her medical advisors, Dorothy's condition did not progress as predicted. Instead, it stabilized and then began to reverse. Within 2 years, what had been considered chronic and progressive had diminished to the point where it no longer significantly impacted her daily life. Her advisors had no explanation within their conventional framework. Dorothy knew that the explanation lay in the power of the subconscious mind override any external verdict when properly impressed with new pattern. Such accounts remind us that the final authority in matters of health does not reside in any external source, however expert. The final authority resides in the consciousness of the individual. What you accept with deep conviction, you experience. What you reject and replace with a new conviction, you eventually experience differently. This is a law, and it operates without exception. The words you speak to your body become the instructions your subconscious follows. Choose them with the same care you would use in programming a powerful computer. Be specific. Be positive. Be present tense. Do not say, "I will be healthy someday." Say, "I am healthy now. Healing flows through me now. Every cell is functioning perfectly now." The subconscious responds to present tense instruction because the subconscious exists only in the eternal now. It does not know past or future. It knows only the current impression it is receiving. As you speak these words, visualize the reality they describe. See your body filled with light and energy. See yourself moving with grace and vitality. See the specific areas of concern restored to perfect function. Make the visualization as vivid as possible. Engage all your mental senses. Not only see, but feel, hear, and experience the reality of your healed state. Then release. This is an essential step that many overlook. After you have spoken your words, held your vision, and felt the feeling of fulfillment, you must release the entire process to the subconscious mind. You do not need to wonder how it will be accomplished. You do not need to micromanage the healing process. You have planted the seed. Now let the subconscious bring it to fruition in its own perfect way and time. The psalmist wrote, "Be still and know that I am God." The stillness referred to here is not merely physical stillness, but mental stillness, the cessation of anxious thought, the release of the need to control, the surrender into trust. When you have done your inner work, become still. Know that the power within you is God, is infinite intelligence, is a creative force of the universe itself. This power is now working on your behalf. All is well. The days following your mental work are important. Continue to maintain a positive mental attitude. When thoughts of doubt arise, gently replace them with thoughts of faith. When fears surface, speak words of peace. When appearances seem unchanged, remind yourself that the seed is germinating beneath the surface. Your persistence during this period is what determines whether the new pattern will take hold or whether the old pattern will reassert itself. The night time remains a most powerful period for impression. As you prepare for sleep each night, review the healing work you have done. Speak your words once more. Feel your feelings once more. Enter sleep with your mind directed toward health, wholeness, and restoration. What you carry into sleep, the subconscious works upon with special intensity because the conscious mind is not present to interfere. Many who practice these principles report that they wake in the morning with ideas, insights, or feelings that seem to come from beyond their conscious minds. This is the subconscious communicating with you, guiding you, perhaps suggesting actions to take or attitudes to hold. Pay attention to these intuitions. They are part of the healing process. The intelligence within you may direct you toward particular foods, particular forms of movement, particular changes in your daily patterns. Follow this guidance. The subconscious knows what you need and is always working for your highest good. As we move toward the conclusion of this teaching, I want to speak directly to the part of you that may still doubt. I understand that you have been conditioned by the world to believe that the body is a machine, that healing comes from outside, that conditions once established are difficult to change. These beliefs are widespread, but they are not true. The truth is that your body is a living expression of consciousness, that healing comes from within, and that any condition can be changed when the consciousness changes. You may have tried before and not succeeded. Perhaps you applied these principles for a time and then gave up when results did not appear quickly enough. I encourage you to try again. This time, commit to persistence. This time, understand that the subconscious often requires sustained impression before new patterns take hold. This time, resolve to continue your practice regardless of appearances until the manifestation appears. The power within you has never failed and can never fail. It operates by law, and law is unfailing. If you have not experienced results, it is not because the law is ineffective. It is because the conditions for its operation have not been fully met. Meet the conditions, through faith, through feeling, through persistence, and the results must follow. You are not alone in this journey. The infinite intelligence that created the universe and that sustains your body in every moment is your partner in healing. It wants you to be well. It desires your wholeness. It rejoices in your health. Align yourself with this intelligence through your thoughts, your words, and your feelings, and you align yourself with a power greater than any condition, any diagnosis, any limitation. The words you speak to your body are words of creation. Through them, you participate in the ongoing creation of your physical form. You are not passive in this process. You are an active creator, shaping your body through creative power of your mind. Embrace this responsibility joyfully. Use this power wisely. Speak only words that you would want to see made manifest in your flesh. Before I close, let me offer you a practice you can use tonight and every night thereafter. When you lie down to sleep, breathe deeply several times, allowing your body to relax completely. Then speak these words, or words like them that resonate with your own heart. I speak to every cell of my body. I bless you with perfect function. The infinite intelligence that created you now restores you to complete and radiant health. I am filled with vital energy. I am whole and well in every way. I give thanks for the healing that is occurring now, and I rest in complete trust. Feel these words. Let them sink deep into your being. Then release them to the subconscious and drift into peaceful sleep, knowing that while you rest, the infinite intelligence within you is working to bring your words to manifestation. As we conclude this teaching, I want you to understand clearly that what has been shared with you is offered for educational and inspirational purposes. These are principles that have been observed to work in the lives of many, principles rooted in the timeless wisdom of subconscious mind science and spiritual philosophy. They are presented as original teaching created to inspire your own exploration and application. Your experience will be uniquely yours. Apply your own judgment. Take inspired action. Listen to the guidance of your own heart. The principles shared here are tools for your use, not guarantees of specific outcomes. How you apply them, how persistently you practice, how deeply you believe, these factors will shape your individual results. What I can tell you with complete conviction is this: there is a power within you that is greater than any circumstance you face. It has always been there. It will always be there. It is your birthright as a spiritual being living in a physical body. When you learn to work with this power consciously and deliberately, when you speak to your body with words of life and healing, when you hold in your mind a vision of wholeness and feel its reality in your heart, you set in motion causes that must produce effects. You are not a victim of your body. You are not trapped by conditions or diagnoses. You are a creative being with the power to transform your experience from the inside out. The words you repeat to your body when you are sick and tired can become the seeds of a new reality, a reality of health and energy and vital aliveness. Tonight, begin. Speak the words, hold the vision, feel the feeling, and trust in the law that never fails. The intelligence that grew you from a single cell into the magnificent being you are today is the same intelligence that can restore you to perfect wholeness. It awaits only your faith, your feeling, and your word. May you go forward from this teaching with renewed conviction in the power within you. May every word you speak to your body be a word of blessing. May every thought you think about your health be a thought of life. And may you experience, in the days and weeks and years ahead, the full manifestation of the healing that is your divine inheritance. Go in peace. Go in faith. Go in the absolute certainty that the infinite power of the universe dwells within you and is ready, even now, to make all things new. The healing you seek is seeking you. Open the door through belief and let it in. You are blessed. You are whole. You are healed.